Welcome back to the fields of Perthshire. Hopefully the thawing fields of Perthshire, because I didn't get off to a great start. Well, I woke up this morning, went out into the back garden with a spade, stuck it in the grass and thought, fantastic, I'm going to head up to the medieval chapel site. And then I get here and it's still rock hard. So I'm going to have to find another field, maybe stubble. But I'm back. I have got myself a stubble field. It's not the field that I wanted, but my other fields, a lot of them are ploughed, and the ploughed fields just seem to take a lot longer to defrost than the stubble do. So I'm on a barley stubble field. Not the field I was hoping for, but hey, sometimes great days come when you least expect them. I have to say as well, a massive thank you, another milestone, 37,000 subscribers. And the famous giveaway is coming soon. Trust me, it's coming. I've just waiting on a couple of things falling into place, and I had a few technical difficulties, but it's coming soon, so don't miss it. So, let's go and see what treasures there are to be found. Well, it is about 14 minutes and I've got my first digger. Doesn't sound amazing. $55. Can I dig it? Yes, I can. Just. Oh, maybe not. Might not be very many live digs in this video. Right, hopefully it's not in the surface. 55, wee hammered coin to get started. Unfortunately, it's not very deep, which means it's probably frozen in the ground. But we'll try and get it out. Stone, yes. Well, it must be pretty small. It is pretty small. It's there. Look, there it is. It's actually a coin. It's not, it's a button. Is it a coin? I think it's a button. It is, it's a tomback. It's one of those ones, look, I thought I had silver on the first hole. I've dropped it already. Haven't even started yet and I've dropped it already. Ah, where did it go? There it is. Yeah, I haven't. I've done exactly what I did previously, which is I've put my reactivity down to 1.5, and I've turned my sensitivity. I've gone way up to 98, and this field has been detected for over 20 years. So there are not a lot of targets in it other than iron. And we've winkled out a little tomback button. So, first target, first hole. I've dropped it again. Anyway, it's a button. It's probably from the end of the 1700s. Okay, just gone the half-hour mark. Digger number 2. 85. I'm kind of in the tree line. Oh! And it might be shaded, and it is, which means it's not going to be easy to dig. Oh, we've got it. We've got it. Could be the dreaded aluminium. Well, we're out. That saved a bit of heartache. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? What's that? Stone? Ah! We got a bullet. We got a relic. And that is a very, very large bullet. With, I suspect, a lead core. Let's get the brush on it. Now I think this is from a revolver. It is lead core with a copper or a brass jacket on the outside. Clearly been fired, a bit of a dimple on the end, but I think that's probably from like a service revolver. I'm terrible with my calibers of rifle because we don't really have firearms in Scotland, but I want to say a 45. But let me know in the comments below, and that's probably Second World War era, round about the 1939-1945 era. Good. 2 finds in half an hour. 2 finds in 2 seconds, just a few feet away from the bullet. A very similar sounding, well, 81 to 85. Oh, a bit harder digging though. Well, I'm supposed to be out. Yesterday I was supposed to be out with Simon, but we had to cancel that because the ground's frozen. Typical that I get loads of time to detect and I can't get out. So worse still, my wife has started making me do DIY. So we desperately need better weather so I can get out of it. It's another bullet. It's another one. Practically side by side. It's amazing sometimes how things can stay so close together. I mean, this has probably been in the ground for 70 odd years, and there's literally, well, there's one hole right here, and there's the other hole right there, so that they're just in the space of 70 odd years. They've only moved, well, they might even be in the exact same position as they were 70 odd years ago. So there you go, clearly this one's had an impact. So yeah, we need milder weather so I can get out of doing DIY and go full-time detecting. 6 feet away, I think we've got another one. It is, well, it's a smaller caliber. Is it? I think it is. I think that's smaller. Yeah, it is. It is. Let's give it a wee brush. Same idea though. It's a bullet with a lead core. I wonder what they were shooting at out here. The great Perthshire shoot-off. Yeah, quite a difference in size. Look at them. So there you go. 3 bullets and a button so far. Right on the hour mark, we've got another digger. 84, 86. I don't think it's a coin. I don't think. It's just a little bit chittery. Wouldn't be surprised if it was another bullet. Sounds a wee bit better now. Still down there. It's actually 2 targets. It's a 72 going down to a 02. And that is a very crisp 86. So it could be a coin after all. With a bit of an iron in the hole as well. There is something. We've got a coin. Yes. It looks like a halfpenny, and it looks like a very nice halfpenny. And it's you know who. Gorgeous. Georgius. Look at that for a tone. That is a stunning little coin. Absolutely stunning. 1931 I think it is, but we'll give it a wee clean up. So it is a very beautiful, absolutely stunning little coin. Fantastic condition, 1931. A little bit of residual stuff stuck to the back, but a very clear date. That'll clean up absolutely perfectly. But what strikes me the most, look at the tone on that coin. Beautiful olive green colour. George V looking to the left. This is just 5 years before his death. 1936 is when he died. And yeah, he was the oldest son of Dirty Bertie, Edward VII. So his grandmother was Queen Victoria. And he did have a good relationship with his father, but his father felt that both he and his older brother, who was Albert Victor, were, well, not the brightest, let's put it that way. So he sent them off to join the Royal Navy because he thought it was the perfect way for them to learn a little bit. They were enrolled in the Navy at the age of 12. This is Nala. Hello, Nala. Nala. Hello, this is Nala. I was just talking to the the owner, out in the field, showing them my bullets. Yeah, so they were enrolled as naval cadets. He was only 12 years of age, and he was sent off to the Navy. At the age of about 14, he did a tour all the way down through Japan and Australia without his father. And they famously, the ship they were on board, sighted the ghost ship, the Flying Dutchman, in the South Pacific. So there you are. And unfortunately, 1931, it was about 10 pence a pint. So this is 1/20th of a pint of beer. Darn. A very, very faint one. '86, '87, but again, a bit of an iron tone in there. It's going to be very difficult to get this one out, I think. Oh, we're out. Well, we're not out, we're got the surface off. Sounds a bit better now. Make the hole a bit bigger. Oh. Right, last one. Then we'll get the pinpointer out. In or out? I can't make my mind up. Still in there. Right, I'm going to make this a wee bit bigger and get back to you. Well, I just took 2 spadefuls out the side, and I can see a green disc right there. And we've got another coin, which I think was on its edge, hence the really poor target. Soil is very sandy, although it does look like an earlier coin, possibly Georgian. So as ever, I'll get back to you. Well, I thought we had coin number 2, and now I don't think I do have coin number 2. I think it's possibly a token. See how it's got all these kind of swirls going on the reverse? I can see letters there, N, I think it's NIA, like Britannia, but I don't think it is Britannia because it looks like that's not corrosion, that looks more like a design. And on the other side, even more so, it looks a bit weird. Because I can see a date at the bottom, which is either 179 something or it's 170 something. And if it's 1790 something, that would be the reign of George III, Mr. Potato Head. Now, there does look to be a headed figure in the centre looking to the right hand side, but I don't think that's George III. And also, the letters around the edge don't look right. It looks like that possibly says Council, C-O-U-N. So that would say, you know, if that was George III, it would say Georgius 111 Rex. And that certainly doesn't say that. And likewise, if it was George I or George II. So it is a mystery. I think it is possibly a trade token. And there were a lot of trade tokens in Scotland around about 1790. So I think that might be 179 something. But I'm going to have to rely on you all to identify it for me. But it is almost certainly some sort of trade token from the Georgian period. I'll zoom you in a wee bit and I'll get the angles just to try and help see if you're able to identify that for me. So, you're all much cleverer than I am, so let me know in the comments below. I'm very happy with that. A coin and a potential token, and some bullets, and a button. This one sounds pretty bizarre. 76, I think it could be big iron or aluminium, but I think I'm going to have to turn it off and get back to you. Well, it's fairly close to the surface, but that's not so good because how am I going to get it out? Oh well, that's maybe a start. Ah, there it is. Aluminium. Look there. Tin can. Oh well. Well, at least I'm getting some targets. I'm also delighted that I got the coin and then the potential token, because it feels like my job is done. This is a 77. So yeah, it's almost like, you know, once you get that coin off, you know, you get off the mark, then you feel like you've kind of, your day has been worth it, even if it's just one coin. Right, 77. We're out. Now, I think we're in the frozen stuff. Ground is a lot harder here. I think that's it right there. Nope, it just looks like a... We've got another coin, folks. Oh, it's not, it's a button. I was going to say, it seemed awful low for a coin. It could have been a halfpenny, but... Nope, it's a button. It's a two-piece button, and it's missing the other piece. So this is the front bit, and no decoration on it. So there would have been a bit on the back there which would have had the shank. So it's probably late 18 into the middle of the 1900s. Still, it's a find. This one's an 80 and the ground is rock hard. So I'm going to have to get back to you. Well, I think it's another button. Yep, I think so. Let's have a wee look and see. Yep, there's the shank, still intact. A wee bit bent. Probably going to be plain, I would think, but we'll give it a wee rub just to make sure. Is that a decoration or is that just corrosion? I think that's just corrosion. But it's a wee button, and that's probably 1700s. Maybe a wee bit more modern into the 1800s, but either way, it's probably going to be at least a couple of 100 years old. Another pretty decent sounding one. $83. It could be a coin, and the ground is softer. Definite halfpenny potential, I would say. Now it's a bit of a dog's dinner. It's all over the place. 87, 89, 91. Bit of lead. It is a bit of lead. It's a chunky bit of lead. It's an unusual shaped piece of lead. This is actually the field that Pete got that bizarre bit of lead that was still never had properly identified, which looks a bit like a jester riding a sheep, if you remember that one. So that is a very chunky big bit of lead. It's actually a sheet of lead that's been rolled rather than one big lump. Don't see any decoration on it though. But, well, it could be ancient, but we'll never know. This was a very weak 59. Started to dig the hole, lost it, figured it was something small, then I turned it on its edge. Chance of a coin. There is something round. Pinch it out. It could be a coin, or it could be a button. I think it's a button. It's a 4-holer. Well, I thought for a wee second there was an outside chance of a hammered coin, but I thought it looked just a little bit small. And it is indeed. What's that now? Is that button number 4? I think it could be. It would have had a maker on there, but it's illegible now, but that's probably around the 100-year-old mark. A wee 4-holer. Quill. This one was a 79, and in the frozen mud, because we're back to the hard stuff, we've got lead. Now, is it a fishing weight or is it a musket ball? Because we're very close to a river. There's a lot of people take a shortcut across this field to go fishing. So if it's a fishing weight, there's going to be a hole in it. And if there's no hole, then it's a musket ball. And the answer's in. It's a musket ball. It's a musket ball, probably 1700s, maybe 1800s, and made of lead. So always a good sign. I love finding musket balls. A very faint and chirpy 79. Took me some amount of effort to find that. Now, is it a coin or a button? It's a button. I can see or feel the raised centre. So, well, I thought it was maybe a wee turner there, a wee 1600s coin, but not to be. But, it's button number 5, I think that is. So it's certainly been the day of the buttons today. The shank's still there, it's just been flattened. And it's not too dissimilar from one of the ones I got earlier. Also plain. So again, 1700s, beginning of the 1800s, so at least a couple of 100 years old. But it's a find. This I think is going to be my last target because I'm only 30 feet from the edge of the field. Tell you what, we could have a wee coin just to see us on the way. Ground again is a little bit on the hard side. A wee coin to finish things off would be lovely. Would be lovely. We're out. Oh, can't even get the spade in. There we go. Come on. Oh. Well, I'm imagining it. I'm sure I saw something green and round there. I did. There it is there, look. Is that a coin? Or a button? It's a bit chunky. It is a wee bit chunky. Come on. Please be a wee coin. Ah, it's another button. What's that? 6 buttons, I think. Clearly people were stripping off in this field back in the day. But yes, similar sort of date, similar sort of era. That's where the shank would have been attached. So again, 200, 300 years old. I spoke too soon. One last target. 80. Maybe a wee bit of lead or a button or something like that just to get us finished. 80. Could be a halfpenny. It's a fairly consistent output. We're in there. Nope, there we are, right there. Ah, it's just fallen out. There it is there. It might be a coin. It is a coin, you know. What is that then? I think it's a farthing. A quarter of a penny. Let's try and get you in the light. Sun is going down rapidly, so it's not very good for filming. It is, it's a farthing. And it is Edward. Edward? No, is it Edward? No, it's not. It's George, sorry. George. George the, oh no, 7th? Always get that one wrong. It's George V's son. There you go. The late Queen Elizabeth II's father. It is a farthing. There is a date on there somewhere. There is at the top. 1951. 1951's a quarter of a penny. Well, that isn't going to buy me any beer at all. Probably by this point, God, a pint's probably about 50 pence. So a quarter of a penny isn't going to get me much. In fact, it's not 51, I think it's 1941. So it's during so it's during the Second World War. And George here, he's, as I mentioned, he's Queen Elizabeth II's late father. He followed his older brother Edward when he abdicated. In fact, it's George the Sixth. George the Sixth. It's all coming back to me now. So George the Sixth married Elizabeth Bowes-Lyon. He also had a younger brother, the Duke of Kent, who was killed during the Second World War. But 1942, he was killed in Caithness in the north of Scotland when the plane that he was potentially piloting crashed into the side of a mountain. I think there were about 12 or 14 people on board and only one person survived, and he was not one of them. So the Duke of Kent is the last member of the royal family to die in active service. Prior to that, it was about almost 500 years since a monarch was killed in battle. So there you go. Beautiful, quarter of a penny, glistening in the sun. So that's lovely. A great way to finish. So there you are. 1, 2, 3 coins, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buttons, 3 bullets, a musket ball, lump of lead, a few bits of copper, quite a few bits of tin foil and so on as well, but I can't complain. So, beautiful toned George V. Then we got his son, George VI, and a curious little tokeny, coiny sort of thing. So, from the 1700s. It's gone a bit dull in my pocket, but half a dozen buttons, bullets. All in all, that is not a bad day, and great to be out again after the thaw, and clearly tweaking that programme in a field that, bearing in mind, I've detected for over 20 years. That is not bad for 3.5 hours, is it? Pretty good. Well done to the XP DEUS too. So, there you go. I cannot complain at all. And it's great to be back out again. So, unfortunately, look at that sky. It's going to be cold tonight. I think they're saying it's going to be down to about -8, which is about 12 Fahrenheit. So, I think tomorrow it's going to be frozen ground again. But fingers crossed, there's a lot of rain and some milder weather coming in Thursday, Friday. So maybe I'll get back out again on Friday. But we'll see what happens. And don't go anywhere, because although I posted my appearance on the BBC in a separate video, for anyone who maybe missed it, I'm going to stick it on again. It's not every day you get to appear on the British Broadcasting Corporation, so you get to all see me sweat and fidget. Okay, so once again, thank you for 37,000 subscribers, an unbelievable achievement. And 2.5 years or so is just incredible. So thank you all for the continued support. And if you don't already, if you're not already subscribed, then please hit that button. And hopefully I'll see you out sometime very soon. Take care, and thanks for watching.
Now, is it a hobby which could make you rich? Treasure hunting has seen a significant increase in popularity across Scotland, with thousands more artefacts unearthed over the past year.
More than 12,000 things were handed into the National Museum of Scotland's Treasure Trove unit last year. That's compared to just over 2,000 back in 2019.
Well, John McEachin is a Scottish metal detectorist, and he's joined us now to tell us why there's been such a surge in popularity. What's going on? Why are people out looking for treasure?
Well, it's a good question. I think COVID and lockdown had a lot to do with it. It's a great way to get out into the outdoors, either on your own or with other people. And obviously the media, there seems to be a story every other month of some incredible find, some fantastic discovery. So it gives people the hope that maybe it could be them.
And you've brought some of your stuff. What have you found?
I have. Well, I've got a little bit of a mishmash of different things here. Hopefully that's visible on the screen there. But
a wee figure there.
yeah, the little figure, we believe, is Roman.
Wow.
It's probably from the 1st century. And below it, the little lead block there is probably from the 1400s. And the other finds are actually just run-of-the-mine finds that you would find practically in any field in Scotland. And then there's the exception. There's the finds.
This is the special stuff.
This is the stuff that's kind of what you would actually call treasure.
Wow.
So gold coins, medieval coins and Roman coins.
And where did you find these?
Mostly I metal detect in Perthshire, but I do occasionally go down to England as well. So all over, really.
And what are the rules in terms of turning up somewhere and searching?
That's the most important thing. You've got to follow the rules. You have to have the permission of the landowner. You have to report any items that you find to the treasure trove unit, and they will then make a decision on whether or not they are officially treasure.
Yeah, because we've heard about this big increase in the number of things being handed in, but is it the case that some people might be holding on to what they find, do you think, or are generally people out there doing this, you know, for the greater good and to try and share those things with other people?
Yeah, I think most people who metal detect have got all the right reasons for doing it. They want to find some history. You don't do it to get rich. And most people are really interested in history and protecting history, preserving history for future generations by handing stuff into museums.
And what's the community like? Do you share information with each other, share finds?
Yeah, you do. You share information to a certain extent.
I wondered whether you keep your best spots to yourself.
As you can imagine, it's a bit cloak and dagger. You try and be as vague as possible. But yeah, it's a great community. You meet some fantastic people.
And what about where to find things in terms of a location? I take it it's not random. You don't just sort of stop by a field and go and try your luck, do you?
You'd be amazed. Sometimes it's the fields that have absolutely no history, which are the ones that produce an amazing find. Other times, you know, you do a bit of research, a castle, some history, and you turn something up that's relevant. So.
And are you worried, given that so many people are taking up this hobby, that we might run out of treasure?
You'll find it all.
Well, yeah. Well, eventually it will run out. But you know, we've only got, I think, somewhere between 500 and 1,000 people regularly metal detecting in Scotland. So it's a big place. There's plenty for everyone.
What's the best thing you've ever found?
My best thing I've ever found is a medieval gold coin from the 14th century. But I've been very lucky. I've found a lot of very amazing things over almost 25 years. A long, long time I've been doing it for.
And you have been able to keep some of it. So how does that work? You report it and then they say, yep, it's yours?
Yeah, sometimes in England they have a different system from Scotland. So you can often get to keep a find. In the case of some of these items, they haven't actually gone to treasure trove yet. They're going to be going just shortly.
Good. Well, great to see them tonight and actually see them up close.
Yeah, fascinating.
It's fascinating. Thank you so much,
pleasure.
John. Lovely
Thanks
to
for
see
having
you.
me.
Neat segue to National Treasure, Christopher Blanchett with the weather.
Pretty cold tonight, actually, and a pretty chilly day tomorrow. But then it turns milder for the middle part of the week.
Good for detectorists.
Yes, although probably a little bit soggy.
Yeah.
A bit damp underfoot, a bit muddy out in the fields, I think. But yeah, a roller coaster of temperature this week, but generally going one way, and that is down. Thanks very much indeed, Laura and Laura. Very good evening to you. We've got some pretty chilly weather overnight tonight with clearing skies.
So, what do you think? Did it look like me? Some people have said I had no idea that, that you dressed up or that you could make yourself look so presentable, because so many people only ever see me covered in mud out metal detecting in a field. So there you go, my 5 minutes of fame. I should point out that I had a little conversation with the producer just 5 minutes before the video was shot, where I said to them, you know, I brought a few things with me, and they said, oh, fantastic props, but they didn't have any way of displaying them. Fortunately, I'd brought a little box with me, which I used, but it was a nightmare trying to get the angle right without them all falling over, which some of them did, as you saw in the first snippet of video. So, yeah, it was a great experience. The staff were lovely. And I didn't really have time to panic because I didn't know what they were going to ask. I did say to them, you know, what are the questions? All I knew was the topic was metal detecting, but I didn't know if they were going to ask me anything controversial. I didn't know if they wanted to talk about me or the hobby or a bit of both. So when I said, look, what are the questions? They basically said, well, you'll find out when they ask them. So I didn't have any preempting, so hopefully I did okay. So there you go. As I say, 5 minutes of fame. And the BBC have got my number, so who knows, maybe there's a mini-series coming sometime soon. So, I hope you enjoyed. Thanks as ever for all your incredible support, because if you didn't watch my channel and you didn't help to make it the success that it is, then the BBC wouldn't have called me in the first place. So thank you all, as ever, for the tremendous support. So hopefully, I'll see you all on the next video, and fingers crossed, in another 48 hours, it might have thawed just about enough that I can get out and go metal detecting. So hopefully, I'll see you all on the next dig. Take care, and thanks for watching.